Welcome to Herbally Yours, an adventure into the world of natural medicine. Here is your host, Dr. Ellen Kamai, the natural nurse who will help you take the leap to ultimate wellness.
And thank you so much for joining us today. This is Ellen Kamai, the natural nurse, and we are here for another edition of Herbally Yours on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. And you can also hear us on iHeartRadio. Herbally Yours brings you the latest information about the many facets in the world of natural living. Today, I am so happy to have as my guest, Dr. Linda Lancaster, and we'll be talking about her brand new, wonderful book, Harmonic Healing, Restore Your Vital Force for Lifelong Wellness. Dr. Linda is a board-certified naturopathic physician and advanced homeopath. She has been in practice since 1981 and is the founder of Light Harmonics Institute, and you can find her at lightharmonics.com. It's an energy medicine clinic and educational center based in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And Dr. Linda's training includes classical homeopathy, radionics, medical radiesthesia, subtle energy healing, emotional, spiritual, and grief counseling, nutrition, herbal medicine, and Ayurveda and detoxification methods. Her health and cleansing programs have been offered to her patients for almost 40 years. Quite amazing, because I know Dr. Linda from when we were both really starting out. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Linda.
Well, nice to be here, Dr. Ellen.
Now, in terms of your book, I just read a little intro to it, and I bet that there are a lot of vocabulary words, even in your intro, that people just don't know about. And I imagine you discussing them in depth, and you do, in your book, Harmonic Healing. But let's talk about what some of these things are. Like radionics. What is radionics?
We get right to it, don't we? Radionics is a method of analysis and treatment from a distance. The evaluation of energy is most important when we think about radionics. But radionics is one of the many modalities that we can use as practitioners. So I don't go too much into radionics in Harmonic Healing book, but what I do begin to, I think, unfold is the understanding of subtle energy and how that subtle energy can be directed. Our vitality and our health relies on that energy, the energy that's we're getting by breathing consciously, by eating food that has energy. And you, Ellen, you are the biggest promoter of organic vegetables than anyone I know.
Right, all those things. But very interesting that your appeal, and right on the back of your new book, Harmonic Healing, Restore Your Vital Force, like you were talking about, for lifelong wellness, your work has touched every genre of society. On the back of your book, you have beautiful quotes from Mark Hyman, who's a medical doctor, very well-known New York Times bestselling author, and leads information in functional medicine. Also, Anne Louise Gittleman, who's also been on my show, another New York Times bestselling author, and Robert Redford, who I'm sure many people have heard about because he's an award-winning actor, director, and producer. So what a large grouping of people that have actually worked with you successfully over your many years in practice.
Yes, thank you. I think what draws them is looking deeper than just the physical. Our body is more than just what we see. We are electromagnetic. Our body, we have a physical body, and we have an etheric body. And that etheric body is light, threads of light penetrating through our physical makeup. Now, the practice of radionics reads that etheric body. So it's the practice of radionics is very it's not widely spread, but many of us are doing it without knowing we're doing it. To be able to read energy is actually practicing radionics, because in radionics there is an acknowledgement of the higher forces more than what we see. So this subtle understanding reveals many interferences, and these interferences in my almost 40 years of practice tells me that these unseen interferences is what affects us and creates the dis-ease in our body. And then it comes down into matter, which is our physical form.
I think that's an excellent explanation. And sometimes the people who find that they don't get well, even though all their blood work looks perfect and their doctor goes from just dismissing them, but if they go back again, they'll give them an antidepressant. And really that makes them worse in the long run and has nothing to do with what's wrong with them. But looking on the inner levels like you do often reveals that hidden answer.
Well, the problem with it is it's very hard to train people in these methods because it's a self-training.
Right. So not everybody has the diagnostic tools. And then also, if someone's working in a mainstream facility, not only may they not know about it, they also may not be able to provide that kind of intervention. So it's definitely a wonderful and unique specialty. And I'd like to remind you, listeners, that you are listening to Herbally Yours on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Ellen Kamai, the natural nurse. And today, my guest is Dr. Linda Lancaster, and we will be talking about her new book, Harmonic Healing, Restore Your Vital Force and Lifelong Wellness. So although, Dr. Linda, we got off on a very esoteric start, and I'm sure we'll weave that back in, Chapter 8 of your book... We
do, Ellen.
Excuse me?
I said usually we do weave it back in.
Of course. But I do want to review that Chapter 8 in your book, which I can see being its own book one day, is Dr. Linda's Kitchen. Because let's say some of the energy stuff might not be something someone can grasp onto, just following your unique recipes. Because when I met you, that was your entry. That was your entry through nutrition. And you have delicious, easy, really easy and wonderful detoxifying and nutritious recipes for a whole entire chapter in your book.
Yay, thank you. It's my favorite part of the book is Dr. Linda's Kitchen, because indeed that's where I got started, food, because the importance of food, it's essential. So learning how to cook, learning what good food is, learning how to prepare it properly, put it together in a menu properly, use the proper utensils, and cook it with love. That's what I'm looking for.
Right, and you're talking about, let's say, having citrus fruits around, like lemon, lime, grapefruit, and orange, and you talk about including them in recipes that you sometimes might not think about, just squeezing them right into.
Thank you. Yes, we do. The book, I had the most fun writing this part, and yes, it will be another book.
Yeah, that's a great name for a book, Dr. Linda's Kitchen, right there.
Yep, I think we better copyright that one. Yeah, because the kitchen is our studio where life is created.
Now, people often understand at this point in time, especially my listeners, that the liver has to do with cleansing, because that is the body's filter. And how do you talk about that? You have a wonderful drink in here called the liver cleansing drink, and people can just use that immediately, even if they, didn't study all these other kinds of healing techniques.
Correct. So the liver cleansing drink is basically citrus. The recipe is 1 grapefruit and 1 lemon peeled, or an orange if you feel it's too sour. And you add a little olive oil, you add ground flax seeds, and a nice piece of ginger, and you blend it with a little water. It shouldn't be too thin, but a thick drink, and that's your breakfast in the morning. So we do if we want to clean out our liver, we basically start that in the morning because we've been fasting all night. So the first thing that comes down is citrus and olive oil. And the gallbladder just takes a swoop of it because it's the first thing coming down through the digestion. So after basically a fast, you're flushing your liver in the morning. Then we go on to eating liver cleansing foods. And in the liver cleansing foods, I list plenty of great foods, especially bitter greens. It's such an easy liver cleansing. The first 3 weeks, we eliminate whole grains. We do just vegetables and protein, but small amounts of protein. You don't have to fill your whole plate with a huge steak. What I'm trying to bring out, I think, in this book is the importance of vegetables. I believe that vegetables is our most important part of our diet. And why? Because vegetables have an electromagnetic energy. We have an electromagnetic energy. In that mineralization from the soil, we are feeding ourselves through our digestion and through our subtle energies. The liver is so important to keep clean regularly, considering the amount of pollution that's in the world. But yes, it is an easy Dr. Linda's, I would say, first cookbook, because I have people who have never eaten and have never cooked, and have contacted me already and say how much they are enjoying following the book.
Yeah, never
to clean
cooking.
Out the liver.
That is a big thing, Dr. Linda, that never cooking. And we're going to take a little break right here, so I'm just letting you know about that. But the never cooking is so big. I would say so many clients that I see, and I'm sure who you do as well, especially like 40-year-olds, they don't own a pot. Like they have to buy the right kind of
I know.
pot because they have
Ellen, that's why I listed the kind of pots to buy.
Yes.
I mean, we are basic here.
What do you list as the kind of pots to buy? Let's share with our audience.
I like Le Creuset and Staub. I like an enamel-covered cast iron and heavy gauge stainless steel. That's basically what I use. All my pans, of course, are stainless, and I like parchment paper as well. I like that's an easy way for the people who don't like to cook to wrap it up in parchment paper with some vegetables and maybe a piece of fish, wrap it up and put it in the oven. Very, very easy.
That's a great suggestion because so many people have relied on takeout food and eating out their whole entire life. Like eating home means taking, a prefab meal out of the freezer and throwing it in the microwave. They don't even own a pot. So very good that you include that information.
I've been practicing for 40 years, and this is what works. If we get people to cook for themselves, or have someone cook fresh food for them, then I think we're going to get a long way in the healing properties.
This is so true. And we're going to take a little break here. I'd like you to know you are listening to Herbally Yours on the voice of Nassau Community College. 90.3 WHPC. Listen live online at nccradio.org or on iHeartRadio. For more information on today's guest or topic, email us at whpc@ncc.edu or get in touch with me at naturalnurse.com. Stay tuned. Herbally Yours will be right back.
Have you ever borrowed money to finance gambling? Is your life a nightmare from the downhill spiral of compulsive gambling? Gamblers Anonymous helps people worldwide who have a gambling problem to return to normal, happy lives. There are no dues or fees for membership, only the desire to stop gambling. If you are one of the millions of Americans suffering from this problem, act now and get immediate help by calling the Gamblers Anonymous hotline at 855-2-CALL-GA. That's 855-222-5542. Remember, help is a phone call away.
And welcome back to more right here on Herbally Yours, right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Ellen Kamai, the natural nurse, and my guest today is Dr. Linda Lancaster, and we were talking about her book, Harmonic Healing, Restore Your Vital Force for Lifelong Wellness. Now, Linda, of course, we're not keeping it a secret that you and I know each other many, many decades, and I personally have been at your healing clinic and educational center that's based in Santa Fe, New Mexico. What a special place. I would say it's one of the few locations I've been at in the last few decades where you're not inundated with electromagnetic fields.
That's true.
It's like a very, very clean environment.
I guess. We're right in a canyon, so...
Yeah, you may have to get political or your friends out there because, you know, they're trying to bring 5G everywhere. So hopefully that place will be spared.
5G may be coming, but I deal with it when I'm in New York City as well. So I'm not in the pristinest place in the world, or at least in the country, all the time. I travel a lot, and I experienced this last trip to New York, because this last trip to New York was pretty stressful. The electromagnetics have gotten really strong. I was very grateful to come home and take a sea salt and baking soda bath.
Well, that is a great trick. And you know what? Let's talk about that. It is in your book with all these great tips. So Linda is available, by the way, for private clients to speak with her, and that you can find out more by going to lightharmonics.com. She is in the New York area regularly, as well as many places in the country. But now that you've put your book together, Linda, Harmonic Healing, Restore Your Vital Force for Lifelong Wellness, people can get a lot of these secret tidbits without coming in to see you. So I think this is fantastic that you put it all together. Let's talk about that special bath that anyone can do at home.
Okay. Well, radiation is a disturbance in the electromagnetic field, and it creates a lot of inflammation and agitation in our cells. It's a disruption in our electromagnetic field. We've realized by radionic testing that if we measure our electromagnetic field and find radiation, we find that it is a high number. Okay. We take the sea salt and baking soda bath, which is a pound of Arm & Hammer, or any kind, any brand, really, of baking soda, and a pound of sea salt, put it in a tub of hot water, and soak in it for 20 minutes. Now, people say why, because there's always the why. It is because sea salt and baking soda are very alkaline, and it balances the high acidity or the high electrical activity from the environment that we're getting, and we're never going to be clear of it. But it's the build-up that we need to be concerned about. So I recommend to all my patients to take sea salt and baking soda baths. Now, I wanted to just correct you, Ellen, for a second. I'm not taking new patients. I'm mainly teaching, but Light Harmonics, they can call Light Harmonics because there are many practitioners that are practicing what I do. I think my message now is to get the material out. Everything that I put in this book is what I've told patients for 40 years. So we look at the pollution that we're in, we look at radiation, and we realize, well, what can we do? Well, we can do simple things that everyone can do. We eat really, really well organic food to strengthen our field so we become stronger. So, I look at these things in very practical ways. We're here to survive, and we're here to find the best methods that work. So I have a lot of people who are agreeing with me on this.
Well, what's wonderful is in your book, and that's, of course, a way for people to educate themselves in your teaching, Harmonic Healing, Restore Your Vital Force for Lifelong Wellness. You do have the sea salt and baking soda bath recipe. I'm looking right at it. Really simple. Yes. And then you have an apple cider vinegar bath recipe.
Yes. We need that bath so badly. Also. It deals with the fossil fuel and the carbon monoxide and uric acid crystals and negativity that's in our aura. Because it's an acid bath. It changes the frequency to a higher frequency. The lower frequencies are with us very often when we're in pollution. Pollution of all kinds, Alan. Pollution of negativity from thought patterns, negativity from people saying negative things to you. The apple cider vinegar bath helps. And
yes, I've tried it myself, and I use all of these for myself because it's so inexpensive, and you feel so amazing after you do such a simple thing.
Exactly. Yeah. We're just sharing the knowledge of what we've been doing for so many years. I mean, Ellen, you cook this way, you eat this way.
I certainly do, and that's probably why we both feel so great at this time, besides luck, there's luck, and there's genetics.
Substitution has a lot to do with things, like Dr. Parcells once said, it's not whether we live longer, but how well we live when we're here.
That's really true. And I want to remind you you're listening to Herbal Yours on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Ellen Kamai, the natural nurse, and today my guest is Dr. Linda Lancaster. We're talking about her new fantastic book, You Want It, to take care of yourself and your family, Harmonic Healing, Restore Your Vital Force for Lifelong Wellness. And I do want to do a little shout out, Linda, because we're both on the line together, for the United States Psychotronic Association, because that's something that we're both involved in. I hope I'm going to see you there at the yearly conference. And that's a way for people to also tune into this whole discussion of energy medicine. Look at a lot of the history of it. People will often say to myself, and I'm sure to you, oh, you're pioneers. We're not pioneers. We're part of a long lineage.
Correct. It's always great to be able to honor your teachers.
Right, and you were bringing up Hazel, who I would say, is the preeminent protege, bringing her wonderful teachings forward into the future.
Yes, well, thank you. Yep, I consider myself loyal to Dr. Parcells and in agreement with her as she was with me. It was a very wonderful time that I spent with Dr. Parcells.
Yes, and luckily she was on the planet a very long time, but you took the time to actually delve in.
I talk about her in my book.
Right.
She has quite a story, and definitely was here as part of the lineage of as many of the other great energy healers that we have been privy to study and to know.
That's true.
So
these teachings can be used
here to do. So
did you want to share a little bit more about Dr. Hazel or, the Psychotronic Association? That's, I think, a good place for people to know of as an educational connection.
Well, I'm a vice president, and I'm on the board of directors of the United States Psychotronic Association. And we have annual conferences that really comes from the theory of radionics and energy medicine and subtle energies. So our conferences are very, I would say, about energies, about, once you start coming to USPA, you continue to come because there is so much knowledge that is shared that you become part of the USPA community. You can go to psychotronics.org and look at the I'm not prepared to give all who's speaking, but I know you're speaking and I know I'm speaking.
Myself and you.
We do a Radionics 101 the day before the conference, and all of the radionic practitioners, including myself from the board of directors, will be actually teaching Radionics 101. So if people are interested, we are in the Chicago area for that conference. We will be.
And then there's also, you can attend via the web now. Well, we're coming into the future. It's amazing. Or you can come yourself, either way. And it is interesting. It is cutting edge. It is lost healing arts that only some of us still know about, but we want everyone to know about because it saves lives, it saves suffering, and it puts people on the right and happy path. And by the way, it's also a lot of fun. Which doesn't hurt. I'm sure you talk about joy. So believe it or not, we are right up to the end of our time together here, Dr. Linda. And I do want to remind our listeners that they can find out more about you. The name of the book is Harmonic Healing, Restore Your Vital Force and Lifelong Wellness. And you can find out more about Linda Lancaster at lightharmonics.com. You can find the book anywhere. You can see on the back all the wonderful people like Miranda Kerr and Robert Redford and Judith Light who actually have signed the back of the book. So it's very well recognized with many, many people. And until next time, Dr. Linda, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Ellen. It's always good to have a chat with you.
And thank you, listeners, for being our guests once again right here on Herbally Yours, produced in the studios of 90.3 WHPC, Nassau Community College, Garden City, New York. For further information, email whpc@ncc.edu. This is your host, Ellen Kamai, at naturalnurse.com, inviting you to join us next week for another edition of Herbally Yours. Until then, stay healthy.